everyone. Thank you so much for your love and support over these last few weeks as I share more about my health journey since diagnosis and since coming out of hospital. My life has changed a lot, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's for bad, but I really want to take you through what now a day in the life of Mariah looks like. Okay, so before I go into this, I do want to talk about health and what health means to us, and looking at health as an image. When you picture health, right? You might look at me and say, oh, Mariah looks really healthy. She's lost a bit of weight. And it's really interesting because today I got my eyes tested. I wear glasses. I don't want to poke myself in the eye. I wear glasses, and the optometrist said to me, are you healthy? And she would have looked at me and been like, oh yeah, we'll pencil that in as yes. And I said, well, no, I'm not, because I've been diagnosed with cancer. And so when we look at the face of cancer, we think, of course, like no hair, no eyebrows, you know, loss of hair, and not everyone goes through chemo when they have cancer. And yeah, so it was really interesting, and I want to do more on the face of like what health looks like, and I listened to a really amazing podcast on this, and yeah, it's really interesting because this sort of leads into what I'm going to talk about and what my week looks like now, and how it looks so different. And you might think like, oh, but you still work full time, you still do this, do that, you're out and about, you're active, but my life has changed and it feels really different. And I know I need to let go of what my old life looked like and welcome in this new one, because it isn't all bad and it is a lot of self-awareness, but it is really hard sometimes when you know there's certain things that you might not be able to do, or you know that it is a little bit different. So I really just wanted to take you through, and of course I've done this before. I did a day in a life of an entrepreneur, which I'll link, and you might watch the two and think that not much has changed from a video B-roll perspective, like looking at all the bits of videos I've put together. But it does feel really different. It honestly does. And yeah, so I just really want to take you through what that looks like for me. So on a normal day now, I'll get up at about 7 a.m., which is really the good thing about being an entrepreneur, is I don't really have to get up to an alarm if I don't want to, but I do like structure. So I usually wake up at 7 a.m. To my alarm, and I'm usually really sore. So my abdominal muscles are sore, and it's crazy. I know it's all part of the recovery, but it feels like I've done sit-ups in my sleep. And I'm sure it's the tossing and the turning, I'm not too sure, but it's really strange. It's a really strange feeling. I used to wake up at around like 5:30, between 5:30 and 6:30, and I would go to the gym. That would be my normal routine. But now I get up and I do what's called a miracle morning, which I've always done, but now I do it straight away. I might often drive down to the beach and do it, or I'll do it from bed. And I usually incorporate a walk in there as well. So my miracle morning, and I've done an episode on this as well when I did sort of my old vlog, but it's journaling, it's meditation, it's pulling some oracle cards, reading, you know, just starting the day really slow and really, it's sort of like building a little bit more of self-awareness before I've even started my day. And why I've always done this is because I've always lived a really busy life. When I worked full-time and did my side hustle, I was getting up at 4:30 every morning, and I was gymming, and I was working my lunch break, and I was working when I got home, and I was go. Hence, one of the reasons why I am probably in this predicament. But the miracle morning was something I always did to start off the day feeling a little bit grounded before I'd go to work. And to be honest, it did work some days, but there were other days I was just in my head thinking about all the things on my to-do list. But now I make sure that I'm just super present when I do my miracle morning, because I know how important it is for me to start off like this before I do any work. So depending if I do it from the beach or if I do it from my own bed, I usually do it from bed. I used to do my miracle mornings from, on the couch or something like that. But you know what? How good is it doing things from bed? It feels so relaxing, so nice. So once I've done that, I'll usually make breakfast. And I have to take my herbs before I make my breakfast, which, yes, they are disgusting. But I'm getting used to them, but they are helping me a lot. The one thing about taking, things like herbs and supplements, you do have to be consistent with them. And I think like remembering to do it, and even if you go out for lunch or things like that, it's not easy. It can be really challenging. So I think it's just also like the days that I do forget them, it's good to just remind myself that I am doing the best I can. And of course I can always, improve that a little bit more, but I'll have breakfast. I don't eat nearly as much as I used to. I have oats with a bit of protein powder and some fruit. But yeah, it's a very small breakfast portion. And that usually fills me up. I have lactose-free milk now because I can't really do much dairy. I don't know if I'm intolerant, but it just doesn't really work out for me. So I'll have my lactose-free tea. I only really have, I have this big cup and I really only have a quarter of it. I used to drink a whole big tea. Now there's just not a chance that I would be able to do that. And I used to love tea and I don't really drink it as much as I used to. So that makes me a bit sad. And then between then and lunch, I'll do some work. But what this looks like now for me is remembering that it's not about pushing through. And there are a lot of times after breakfast or between breakfast and eating a midday snack, which might be some popcorn. I have tried some chocolate, but it's not really working out. I will feel nauseous. And these are those times where you just get so frustrated because that just stops you in your tracks right there. And instead of pushing through, I try and lay down, have an icy pole, which sounds really strange, but the icy poles are such a mindset thing for me, but it helps me get through the nausea. It's just something cold. When I used to get hangovers, it was really good for me to have an icy pole and just to, I think it was the coldness. I don't know, but it used to help me a lot with hangovers. So now if I get nausea, which is nearly every day, I just have a rest and lay down. But hopefully between then and lunch, I need to go to the bathroom, go to the toilet. In the world of any form of illness, and when you're in hospital, whether you've had a baby, whatever it is, they'll always ask you every day, have you done a poo? And it's the most exciting thing when you've gone to the toilet and done a poo. And when I was younger, I was not really good at going to the toilet in public places. I can't believe I'm saying this on YouTube. But now, we celebrate poo. That is a good thing. So if that happens, it's amazing. And that is generally I don't know, when your life revolves around whether you've gone to the toilet or not once a day. It's very strange, but it's the small things. We always celebrate those small wins. So as I said, between this time, I will do client work. And, if I do feel ill and have to pause, I just have to honor that. And it is really hard because I do have a lot of expectations on myself still. And I know I need to still work through that because self-compassion doesn't happen overnight. And I usually work from bed a lot or here. But most of the time, I'll start working from here and I'll start feeling sick. So I'll have to go work from bed. And then I generally give myself 2 hours for lunch, which I always did. But now it doesn't look like doing things in my lunch break, or lunch break, because it doesn't matter. I can do it whenever I want. Have my herbs again. I usually have a smaller lunch. If I haven't done some exercise, I might go for a walk. But it's interesting because when the days are really nice, I do want to be outside and I do want to work from outside, but there are always chances that I'm going to not feel well or, that I'm going to need to go back in. So being close to home is a bit more of a comfort to me. So I don't generally leave as much as I used to. I have worked from the beach a couple of times since, and it has been okay, but I need to feel really good before I go out and work from somewhere else, even though I do really love it. But really what I'll do in the afternoons and after my lunch break, even though my lunch break, I just sort of relax. I don't do too much. I might do some more reading or watch some Netflix or something like that. Maybe have a lay down. Most of the time after lunch, and I have a smaller serving, it still sometimes makes me feel a little bit sick. So I will often have a lay down after lunch. And then in the afternoons on most days, and it just depends because no day is the same. Like any form of entrepreneur, like I might have appointments in the afternoon, I might go see someone, and that's the good thing. And that's what I'm really lucky to be going through this cancer and going through this recovery stage as an entrepreneur. Although I don't get sick leave and things like that, it does help when I have more flexibility. So that I am really grateful for that. Of course, when I was in hospital not earning any income, that wasn't amazing. But between, lunch and around 5 p.m, I'll do more work. And depending, I do different things on different days. Mondays might be content creation, Tuesdays admin, Wednesdays, business development. But of course, I do all my client work. But of course, it's being open and honest with my clients. And I haven't yet gotten to the point where, touch wood, I haven't been able to reach a deadline because I have been ill. I have been quite lucky. I do, and the beauty about being an entrepreneur is it's just due dates and getting things done. It doesn't matter when you do it. So if I do have a doctor's appointment or something, I don't have to stress. And I am really lucky. I know that. And I also love what I do, and that's amazing too. But what makes it hard is sometimes it's not easy to stop working when I know my body needs to stop, but my mind is still ready to keep going. So by 5 p.m, I generally try and stop working, but of course, like some days I want to keep going, even if I am feeling ill, or some days I've had a lay down for a few hours in the middle of the day, so I haven't been able to get what I wanted to get done. So I think I need to push harder, but it's in those moments where I do need to just stop. And that's what makes it challenging, because my mind is telling me to go, but my body's telling me to stop, and that's not easy to balance. So once I've finished working, which some days, as I said, it can be a little bit later, but I am being really strict on finishing and shutting my laptop and setting those boundaries, which are also really hard. I might go for a walk, help cook dinner or whatever that looks like. Because shout out to Leanne, who I'm living with. She is a really good cook and she cooks for me, so I'm very lucky. But dinners are smaller, and usually I try to go to bed by 9:30. I'm like, phone's off, and I'll try and read or do something, but I am being really mindful that I can't keep going and going and going like I used to. I mean, like some nights I would work till like midnight, 2 a.m, and then I might start a little bit later, but I would always just like keep going if I wanted to. And now I need to realize, as I said, the mind wants to keep going, but the body isn't prepared to do that. So that's sort of like a normal day. That's a really lucky day when I don't feel sick, and I feel good most of the time. As I said, there are days where the nausea might last a bit longer, where I have a bit of pain, but really what I think is really important to remember with this is you can do that too. Like even if you don't have, like you don't get sick during the day or you don't do whatever, like being really mindful of when your mind says yes, but your body is saying no. And I wish I knew that before, but it's all such a good learning experience to understand that. And I think for me, there are some days I really want to work for the beach or whatever I want to do in that day, but it's just knowing that my body's going to be exhausted. I mean, on the weekend, I had a really busy weekend and I was so exhausted on Sunday, and it actually really wasn't as busy as what my weekends used to look like. And I know during COVID, we learned to slow down, and that helps a lot. But yeah, it's hard when you're 27 and you still want to do it all. And I know I'll be able to get back to a point where I can do a lot more, but like right now in this healing process, even doing yoga, some of the poses I can't do. And I just did a prenatal yoga today with my housemate Leanne, who is very heavily pregnant. So it was good for me to be able to slow down and do that. But even that was quite a challenge. So I guess really when I look at my day-to-day, I'm really lucky that it's very normal. But at the same time, being a digital nomad and being an entrepreneur, there are things that I still want to keep doing. And there are deadlines and projects and other things I want to work on my business that I would love to do right now and smash out and get done and continue to build my business and build what I love, but it doesn't really happen that way. So I guess to conclude, I really did want to just take you through what it looks like and how I'm coping, and really it does come down to listening. And there are days I might eat something and be like, oh, I really should have known that wasn't going to help. But I really do also want to go through how my life has changed, because it was very go, fast paced. Even when I did become a digital nomad and an entrepreneur, and I could decide when I worked and all of those things, it still has changed a lot, but it's not all bad. Like, there are some things that have changed for the better, and that's awesome for me. Like, it's so good. But some things, I guess, for me is when I go out, you know, when I go for breakfast or lunch, or which I used to love to do a lot, I need to know where the toilets are. I need to know, you know, what foods agree with me and what don't. And that can be really hard too, because I might go out and not realize that there's going to be something in that meal that might upset me. You know, the smaller portion sizes, picking things out of food, knowing that, like, even though you have that food there and you do really want to eat it, that is definitely going to make me feel sick later. I can't do cat-cow in yoga at the moment, which is not easy. I'm usually late because it takes me longer to get ready, especially if I feel sick. Even if I go for breakfast or I have a bad night's sleep, I'm generally pretty late for most things, which you can plan for, but also you can't. I have to protect my energy a lot, and it can be hard. As I said, it can be really challenging. I don't drink anymore. I used to love partying and going out. I don't do that. I'm sure I'll get back to going out, but my Saturday nights look so different. I think last Saturday night I was in bed at like 8:30. So it does look really different, and it is really hard when, no matter how old you are. And I think this definitely prepares me for a lot of things like pregnancy and retirement. Well, not even retirement, just like getting older when your body slows down, but not being able to go out dancing. I love going out dancing. But as I said, COVID helped me a lot with this because we couldn't do a lot during COVID. But when other people are doing things and you're not, that's when it's really hard. I spend a lot more time doing inner work, and because I find it helps me protect my energy when I'm not feeling amazing, and it also helps me become really self-aware of my own body. I have to limit my Zoom meetings per day when I'm meeting with people or scheduling calls. I have to look at my week ahead and really plan it so that I'm not cramming everything in on one day. I mean, I remember when I first become full-time entrepreneur, I had an 8-hour day of Zoom meetings. I could not do that now. No way. Absolutely not. I set boundaries with work, although this is something I'm working on and it's not always easy. It's really important for me to set those boundaries, because what happens is even though your life's changed but you're back working, people just go, oh yeah, she's back. Like, it's fine. We'll ask her to do this or get her to do that or whatever. And that's normal. Like, you just go, okay, they're back to normal. That's awesome. But it's up, and people will always test boundaries. It's up to you to put those boundaries up, because they don't know where your boundaries are. And that's something that I'm really learning as well. Obviously I don't do many things after, like during the week at night, because I'm probably usually exhausted. I drive everywhere now. I have a car here in Sydney instead of walking, because I can't walk that far. If I walk and I can't get back. I've done some really cool adventures. I've done one. cool adventure on my own, and I couldn't walk all the way to the lighthouse like I wanted to because I knew I'd have to walk back, and I was really tired, and that's really hard. Like I wanted to go the whole way, and my ego wanted to go, but I had to pull myself back in. And it feels like the small things and the small wins are amazing, but when you do want to push yourself, you just can't, and you're not ready to do that, and that can be really challenging. I need to be more conscious. Today as I'm filming, it's smoky outside, and I wanted to walk, had an optometrist appointment, I wanted to walk, I couldn't walk because it was too smoky, and I would have felt really ill, and it wasn't worth that. And usually I'd be like, oh, whatever, it's just a bit of smoke, because there's fires, not major fires, but just like burning to protect the land. And I really wanted to walk, and I was like, well, it's smoky and gross, so I'm not going to do that. When going to like appointments, I need to start being more mindful and ask more questions, and I never used to. And I think that, getting into that habit of asking questions, getting more clarity is not easy when you go to appointments and you're just used to, yep, okay, cool, I can do that. It can be really hard, and you've got to be always conscious and always on the ball with everything. I have to take food diaries. I write down everything I eat, how it made me feel, which is a really good thing. I think everyone should do that anyway. But as I said, mindful, I'm reading more. I'm trying to build more knowledge, but all this takes time and energy and effort. And I'm a really like, go. I want this done now. I want to learn all the things, and I need to remember that I'm not going to know it all now, and I need to slow down. And yeah, again, as I said, it's a challenge. Preparing to be high energy can be a challenge as well. I think when I'm a business owner and I'm the face of the business and I'm trying to show up for that business all the time, like trying to be high energy when some days you might feel crap isn't easy. And it goes back to protecting my energy, setting boundaries, and things that I wasn't used to doing that I have to do now, which, as I said, isn't always a bad thing. Not being able to say yes straight away can be really hard. I have birthdays and friends, little getaway trips that I really want to go on, but I just don't know yet. I don't know when I'm going to be able to travel and be, fully there and ready. And that's really hard as well, because I want to be able to say yes to all those things, and I can't. And it is a challenge. And as I said, it's like preparing me for pregnancy, preparing me for motherhood, preparing me for getting older and my body not working and that's what it comes down to, is when your body doesn't do all the things that it used to be able to do, it's challenging. And that's what I'm working through. And then another thing is remembering to take a spew bag, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And if I want to put it down to how my life has changed, it's just being a lot more self-aware, which again, as I said, isn't a bad thing, but it's a challenge. And it's some days I slip up and forget, and some days I can be really hard on myself because I want to do the things that I know I can't. And I know it'll get easier. I know it'll get better. And I know I'll be able to do more. And as I said, 6-month recovery. But yeah, when you are still, I feel like I'm still in my prime age. I still feel like I could backpack Europe and drink every day for 6 weeks and do like 100 tequila shots, whatever I did in 6 weeks, because it was just ridiculous. And yeah, it's challenging. It is really challenging. And it is also challenging because everyone's life keeps moving forward, and sometimes I feel like I can't get to those points as fast as I would want to. But that's okay, because I'm here and I'm healthy, and I know it's going to be all right. But yeah, it can be challenging. Again, I'm repeating my words. But yeah, I just wanted to take you through what a day looks like. As I said, it might seem quite normal and still quite exciting, but when my life went from like very high paced and very high energy to this, it's taking me some time to get used to, but I'm sure I will get through it okay. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, and you can see what I do on my day-to-day as well. I do show up very high energy on there, so this is a really good platform sometimes to show, a little bit less high energy and just take you through what it's like. And I'll be sharing more on my Instagram, and make sure you hit subscribe. But thanks so much, and thank you for all your love and support, and I'll talk to you all on the next episode of my I don't know. See ya.